Please be seated. We are resuming our proceedings. Counsel for non-chair, you have the floor. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll move on quickly. Madam Civil Party, I would like to ask you some follow-up questions in relation to the killings that you testified to earlier this afternoon. You were 10 years at the time. That is correct, when you saw this killing. Is that right?
Yes, I was 9 years old.
Were there other children watching this execution?
Answer, no.
That you were there by yourself and stumbled into this group of militiamen?
Well, in fact, I was picking rattan and I was cutting snake roots, and that's why I saw these militiamen now.
Did you recognize any of the militiamen? Had you ever seen their faces before?
Answer, no, never. And I did not know them either.
How did you know that they were militiamen?
Answer. Because I saw them carry rifles, and they had bamboo clubs also, and people said that they were militiamen. That's why I concluded indeed that they were militiamen.
What do you mean with people said? I thought it was only you watching by yourself this event.
Answer. Back then, when people disappeared, we knew that it was because militiamen had taken them away. And since I saw them with rifles, I concluded indeed that they were militiamen.
Was there any other sign on the outside that make you say now that they were militiamen? For instance, did they have certain clothes on? Did they speak in a certain way? Can you give us some more details than just the rifles?
Answer. Well, there were no particular signs of this. They were wearing pants, normal pants, and a black shirt, and they had bamboo clubs as well as rifles. That's why I concluded that they were militiamen.
And you said that the people that they were walking with and guarding and ultimately executing were people from your village. Did I understand that correctly?
Answer. Yes. Because in my village, about 10 people disappeared, but I did not know their names. But their houses were in the same row as my mother's house.
Madam Civil Party, it's important that you tell us what you saw with your own eyes. When you saw those villagers, or let me rephrase, when you saw those people walking there, how did you know that they were people from your village?
Answer. I knew that because I had asked my chief for leave to go home, and during the night I heard people being arrested. I heard noises. About 10 people were being arrested, and I did not know them well. I knew their wives, rather, or in any case, a few of them.
I understand what you're saying, Madam Civil Party, but my question is, when you were hiding there in the bushes, you saw you saw people. How did you know at the time when you saw them that they were people from the village?
Answer. Well, I had seen them before. When I would go home at night, I knew them just because I would see them, but I did not know their names.
Did you ever tell this story to anybody else, either at the time or later?
Answer. No, never. Because I was afraid. Because once the secret became open, I risked being punished.
I understand that you might have been afraid in the year that you saw it and the subsequent 1 or 2 years. But did you ever tell this story after 1979 to anybody?
Answer. No. I told this to no one.
Not even to close family members? To nobody?
Answer. No. To no one.
Did you, after 1979, recognize any of the people that you saw of whom you said they were militiamen? Did you ever encounter any of them in the village or anywhere else?
Answer. No. Never.
Can you give us any lead as to how we would be able to verify your story, how we can find other possibly corroborating evidence for your story? Any suggestion?
Answer. Well, since that time, I met no one, none of these militiamen, so I don't know what to tell you right now concerning that.
Thank you, Madam Civil Party. Last subject I would like to discuss with you, and that is, you said earlier you were deprived of food when you would not reach your quota. Can you tell us whether that happened once or twice or maybe 3 times? Can you give us some more details, please?
Answer. When I was deprived of food because I did not show up at work, this happened often, and when this happened when I could not reach the quota, sometimes I could have lunch, but I would not have dinner.
I understand your testimony, but can you tell us how often did this happen? Once every month, once every 2 months, once every week?
Answer. Once a month or once every 2 months only. This did not happen on a weekly basis.
Last question in relation to this, about the food situation. Would you be able to tell us whether there was a difference in the rations of food that you got and the other children had in the beginning of the DK regime as opposed to more the end of the regime? Did you have more or less to eat in the beginning, or did you have more or less to eat at the end of 78?
Answer. In 1975 and the beginning of 1976, we were given thick rice gruel, but after 1977 and in 1978, the rice gruel was very thin. So that was the situation. The situation changed, as you can see.
So the situation changed for the worse. In the beginning, it was better than afterwards. Is that what you're saying?
Answer. Yes, that's true.
And my very last question, Madam Civil Party, can you tell us who Sao Van is, the person who you said is presently residing in New Zealand?
Answer. Yes. This person is called Salvan.
And he is presently residing in New Zealand, you said, Mr. President, D22/86. What can you tell us more about this person?
Answer. When I met this person, he was with my brother, and he told me stories about my brother. But when the Vietnamese arrived, they left, and then I learned recently that he lives in New Zealand. I never met him in Cambodia, but his relatives told me that he is currently living in New Zealand.
But it's not somebody who was a Khmer Rouge cadre in the southwest zone. What, is that correct?
Answer, no.
Thank you, Madam Civil Party. Thank you, Mr. President.
បាទប្រតិការជនទៅក្រុមសហមេធាវីការពីក្តីលោកខៀវសំផន
President, Kyosompa Defense, you now have the floor. Council Konsam On. Thank you, Mr. President. Civil Party, I would like you to provide a bit of clarification. And you said that you had been incorporated into a mobile unit at the age of 8. And I'd like to know who told you that you were going to join a mobile unit at the age of 8. Nobody. Because back then I was maybe between 8 and 9 years old, and nobody told me anything. Question? Do you conflate mobile unit or child unit, or can you make a distinction between both of these units? Answer, no. I understand clearly the difference between both of these units. The children who were old enough were part of a mobile unit, and the younger children were part of the child's unit. But both units were called child units. Question, in your mobile unit, the children were from which age to which age? Answer, the youngest were about 8 years old. Question, and what about the older ones? Answer, 12. Question, thank you. So you also spoke about a certain Sarun and Sarem, and you said that Saru was living in Sengma village. Do you know the name of the commune and of the district where the village is located? President, please hold on, Civil Party. Answer, well, in Libo commune, Tramkok district, Takeo province. Question, in Saren, where did Saren live? Interpreter did not hear the answer to the question. After 1979, have you met him after 1979? President, Council, please put your question again. Council Consummon. Question, I would like to know if you met these people after 1979 when Cambodia was liberated. Answer, I only met Saru, but I never met Sarem. Question, do you know if they live in the same village, same commune, same district, or do you think that they moved? Answer. I know that Saru still lives in the same village. Question. Now, with regard to what you told us yesterday, that is to say, the story of the 7 militiamen, 3 with bamboo clubs and 4 with rifles. Can you please tell us if you can describe the area where you were picking rattan?
ចាក្នុងកន្លែងដែលខ្ញុំទៅបេះរំពាក់នោះមានដើមឫស្សីច្រើនគុំឫស្សីហើយនឹងដើម
Answer. In this area there was a lot of bamboo, a lot of snake root, and also rattan, more than elsewhere. Question. Was this a thick forest or and how big was the area?
ចាព្រៃនោះមិនក្រាស់ប៉ុន្មានទេ
Answer. No, it wasn't a very thick forest, and I cannot tell you how big that area was, especially since I was very much afraid of everything. Question. Earlier, you said that you saw this scene on your own. You were alone, but then afterwards you said that there were other people with you. So my question is, why those with you did not witness that scene like you did?
ចា
Answer. You have the floor. Please proceed. Thank you, Mr. President. A very brief comment with regard to my colleague who's listening to the civil party in Khmer. I don't think he said that he was accompanied. What I heard in the French translation was that he was alone, and this is what the civil party seems to confirm. President, thank you. Earlier, she did not say that she witnessed that scene on her own. In fact, they were in a group that was split in 2, 5 people per group, and Council Kope asked if there were other people who were there too. So no question was put regarding the fact that there were other people witnessing this scene. Council President, I don't. Council, please finish with your line of questioning, because you only have 5 minutes left. Civil party question. Why didn't your companions witness that scene? Answer. Well, they also witnessed it, but our group was split in 2. In 2 groups of 5. Question. Do you remember the names of the people who were with you? Answer. Yes. I know their names. Question. Can you then give their names to the chamber? Answer. Yes. Question. Please proceed. So there was Sopa, Sopli, Sopeng, Sokan, and myself. Question. Do you know where these people are living now? Answer. No, because since that time we haven't seen each other. Question. My last question. So you were mistreated upon the orders of the unit chief, and you said that the other 20 children beat you, and I'd like to ask you, how is it that you know that these 20 children were base people children? Answer. Because they were in a unit that was right next to mine. Question. So were there children's units for base people children and then children's units for new people children? Answer. Yes. There were different units, and the work was not the same in each unit, and neither was the food ration. Question. Earlier, you said, or rather, you spoke about a so-named mom. Were there other people in these children's units?
ចាខ្ញុំ
I can only recall the three names. Thank you, and Mr. President, I don't have any further questions. President, the Chamber would like to thank you, Madam Vanna, and your statement of harms and sufferings that you claimed were inflicted upon you during the Democratic Cambodia regime is now concluded, and you may be excused from the court to return to your home, and we wish you a safe journey. And court officer, please, in collaboration with WISU, make a transport arrangement for the civil party to return to her place, and the TPO staff, please remain seated there, as we have another civil party to provide the statement of harms and sufferings. And court officer, please invite the civil party to TCCP 884 into the courtroom. President. Good afternoon, Madam Civil Party. What is your name? Civil Party, my name is Lap Niang. President, thank you. And do you recall your date of birth? Answer, no, I cannot recall it, and I only know my age. Question, how old are you then? Answer, I am 51 years old. Question, where is your current address? Answer, I lived in Bang Tapriem. Question, and which commune, district and province? Answer, it was in Kampot district, Kampot province. Question, and what is your current occupation? Answer, I stay at home looking after my grandchildren. Question, and what is your father's name? Answer, his name is Lee Lup. Question, and your mother's name? Her name is Kung Na. Kung Na is her name. Question, and what is your husband's name and how many children do you have? Answer, his name is Noi Wan. We have 6 children. And thank you, Madam Lap Niang. As a civil party in this proceeding, the Chamber will give you an opportunity to make a statement of sufferings and harms inflicted upon you, namely physical, material, or mental injuries as direct consequences of the crimes which are alleged against the 2 accused, Nuon Chi and Khieu Sampon. And that happened during the Democratic Cambodia regime, and which resulted in your civil party application to claim collective and moral reparations, and which happened between 17 April 1975 to 6 January 1979. And based on the request by the lead co-lawyer for civil parties, the Chamber will give the floor to the lead co-lawyers first to put questions to you in relation to harms and sufferings. And the civil party lawyer, you may proceed. Civil party lawyer, thank you, Mr. President, and good afternoon, Mr. President and everyone in this courtroom. And good afternoon, Madam Lap Niang. My name is Lao Chanti. I am a civil party lawyer, and I will ask you some questions in relation to your sufferings you experienced during the Democratic Cambodia regime between 17 April 1975 to 7 January 1979, 6 January rather. My first question is the following. Where did you live during the Khmer Rouge regime? Answer, during the Khmer Rouge regime, I lived in Thnaut Chang village. Question, and in which district? It was in Thnaut Chang commune, Tram Kok district. Question, and which province? No, I did not know. I did not ask at that time. question based on your personal information. When the Khmer Rouge took control of the country, you had 5 siblings. And I will put questions to you for the following years, namely 1977, as to where you worked, or what events that happened and that resulted in that had an impact on your family members. Could you describe that? Answer: I worked at Tanaut Chang. I was sick, and my other brothers and sisters were sick, and they were taken away, and they disappeared since. I was told they were taken to the hospital, but I never see them returned. Question: do you know what kind of illness that they had at the time? Answer: they had fever and dysentery, and they were taken to hospital and never returned. Question: at one point in time, while you were digging a canal, and that your 2 other siblings were arrested by the Khmer Rouge, where did they send them to? And while I was digging a canal, my 2 siblings were put onto a horse cart with other people, and there were 12 of them. Then they were taken away and never returned. So I lost 2 other siblings and 2 younger siblings. Question: and what about your parents? Where were they? Answer: my parents came together with us, but then they were separated from us, and there were only 5 of us, the children, and we stayed in that location amongst the 5 of us, and we didn't dare to say anything, and we just did what we were asked to do. We did not dare to refuse or protest against them. Question: can you tell the court the names of your 2 elder siblings? Answer: Lap Lake and Lap Mar are the names of my elder siblings. Question: you also mentioned your 2 younger siblings. What are their names? Answer: Counsel: you stated that you saw your two younger siblings were put onto a cart and taken away. And could you please tell the court the names of your two younger siblings? Answer: they were Lieth and Laphi. Counsel, thank you. When you were assigned to work there, did your unit chief know that you did not eat pork? Answer: yes. My unit chief knew that I did not eat pork, but I was forced to eat it with gruel. I did not dare to refuse, and I tried to eat it, to swallow it. Question: and in your unit, how many people were in the same situation? Answer: for a unit of 10, only 2 of us were put in, and we were forced to eat that. Questioned: you said you were threatened or forced to eat the food. What was actually their actions? Can you describe? President Sivapati, please wait, and Councillor Coupe, you have the floor.
I'm not quite sure if I frame my remarks in an objection, because I, on the one hand, see the relevance of the questions. On the other hand, it's also out of the segment that we're dealing with today and falls within another segment that is specifically dedicated to this subject. So let's make it an objection. It's outside of the segment.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Il ressort très clairement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your memo clearly shows that the civil parties have the latitude to talk about the suffering they endured throughout the period of democratic Cambodia. I would therefore request that this person be allowed to talk about her sufferings, because it is particularly coherent in light of the memorandum of the Chamber.
President, the objection by the defense team for Nunchi is overruled. And Madam Civil Party, please respond to the last question put to you by the lawyer for Civil Party. Lawyer for Civil Party. Thank you, Mr. President, and let me repeat my last question for the Civil Party. My question to you, Madam Civil Party, is that when you were having your meal and that you said you were threatened by those who forced you to eat the pork, what were actually their actions? Can you describe to the court? Answer: they mix pork. They put pork mix in the gruel, and they were standing there to see and to make sure that we ate the gruel. So I had to force myself to eat it, and until I emptied the bowl, then I walked away. Question: does this mean that during the entire period of democratic Cambodia, it was extremely difficult for you to consume food that was mixed with pork? Answer: in my religion, we are prohibited from eating pork, but we were threatened to eat. We were forced to eat, and we had to eat. Otherwise, we would not live. And in order to survive, I had to force myself to eat it. Question: this may be my last question to you. As for the food ration, as you said, the ration was rather limited. Also, in addition, you were forced to eat pork. And what was the food ration like? Answer: since the loss of my siblings, I never ate my fill. But I did not dare to protest. I tried to be patient, and I had to force myself to eat whatever I was given. Question: this is my last question. And you said you were forced to work. How difficult was it? Answer: I was forced to dig a canal, and in a day I had to dig 10 square meters. When the earth was hard, I could not complete it. If the earth was soft, then we could. And on top of that, we were given only very thin gruel. And sometimes it was mixed with cassava. Council: thank you, Mr. President. I don't have any further questions. President, the Chamber hand the floor now to the co-prosecutors. You have the floor.
Merci. Bonjour, Madame.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Civil Party. I would like you to clarify a couple of points. You stated that you lived in Nao Chung village, in Tramkak village, under the Khmer Rouge regime. Where did your family and yourself come from at the time? Was there any time when you came from Kampong Som?
I came from Bang Kamprim in Kampot province. It was in Kampot district, Kampot province.
D'accord. Parce qu'il y a...
Very well. I asked this question because there's information in your civil party application form which is contradictory. That is why I wanted to have you clarify this point. What happened to your mother, whose name you mentioned a while ago, Konna?
Her name was Konna. She came along with me, but then we were separated. We kept going on, and then I did not know whether she was taken through another direction during that journey.
Est-ce qu'elle a survécu au...
Did she survive the Khmer Rouge regime or not?
No. Since we left, I have not seen her again until today. And I have not received any news about her at all. And if she's still alive, she would be searching for us, the children.
Est-ce que vous êtes resté pendant toute la durée?
Throughout the period of the Democratic Kampuchea regime, did you stay in Tramkak district?
I dug a canal in Tramkak district, and after my younger sibling disappeared, I was assigned to work in 109.
Pour être tout à fait clair, donc quand
In order to be very clear, when you talk of 109, are you referring to Kirivong district in Takeo region?
It was also still in Tramkak district, but in a different village.
lorsque vous creusiez des canaux,
When you dug canals, were you sometimes punished for not succeeding to do your work as you were asked to do? And if yes, what kind of punishment was meted out to you?
The 10 of us had to dig 10 square meters per day.
est-ce qu'il est arrivé que vous n'arriviez pas
Did you sometimes not succeed to dig the 10 square meters a day? And if you didn't, were you punished?
We had to try to finish it, and if we could not finish it by the time the work was over, we had to continue digging through the night time until it was completed.
Si j'ai bien compris votre
If I understood your life experience correctly, you lost your mother and your 4 brothers and sisters in quick succession while you were working in Tramkak district. Can you tell us whether at the time and later in 1979 how you felt in the face of such solitude, being the only family member left who survived?
I am still recalling the event and the loss of my mother and the loss of my brothers and sisters, and every time I recall that, it is still painful for me.
Merci Madame la participante.
Thank you, Madam Civil Party. I have no further questions for you.
President, thank you. And the Chamber would like to inquire from the defense teams. Councillor Kupe, how much time do you anticipate in putting questions to this civil party?
Mr. President, actually I think I have only a very few questions.
If that is the case, you have the floor.
Madam Civil Party, do you remember who it was that forced you to eat pork?
I did not know the names. It was the unit chief and the militia who forced me to eat pork.
Would you be able to remember how often this happened? Was it once? Was it several times? Was it many times?
Every time they kill a pig, I was forced to eat pork. And every few days they would kill a pig and then I would forced to eat pork.
You said that every few days they would kill a pig. Would that happen, or did that happen from the beginning, from 1975, April 75, all the way until the end?
I cannot recall the year. I only recall that every 3 or 4 days when there was no food, then they would slaughter a pig and they would mix the pork in the soup or in the gruel for us to eat.
My last question, Madam Civil Party. We have had many people coming here to testify, and I think most, if not all, explain the chamber that it was only rice gruel and morning glory soup that people were eating, and hardly ever things like pork. Can you react on that?
Il est tard, Monsieur le Président, je sais, mais...
President Civil Party, please hold, and the lead co-lawyer for Civil Parties, you have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je sais qu'il est tard et que...
I know it is late and everyone is rushing, but it appears that what Council has said is not an exact summary of what we have heard so far. Some people spoke of meat, others spoke of fish. So the summary that my learned friend Cooper has given does not reflect the evidence we have heard since the beginning of this trial.
Well, I'm happy the record reflects that is the position of the civil parties. It's my understanding that many witnesses, Mr. President, testified as to having been eating only rice gruel and some morning glory soup. So I think I should be able to put this before the civil party and ask a reaction.
The objection is overruled, and Madam Civil Party, please respond to the last question put to you by the Defense Counsel.
I will repeat the question, Madam Civil Party. You have just testified that every few days a pig would be slaughtered and you would be forced to eat pork. However, we have had many civil parties and witnesses coming here to testify, and many of them testified that they were only eating rice gruel and morning glory soup. My question to you is, could you react on this other testimony from people?
Answer. I would eat rice porridge with pork, and as they knew that we did not eat pork. They would make rice soup with pork on purpose and with morning glory. So they forced us to eat rice porridge, rice gruel, very thin rice gruel. But we, Cham, we do not eat pork.
Thank you, Mr. President.
សូមអរគុណពីការជូនទៅក្រុមវិទ្យាការពីក្តីលោកខៀវសំផនបាទ
President, Kisampon Defense, you have the floor. Council Konsum Ong, Mr. President, we have no questions to put to the civil party. President, your testimony has come to an end. The court will resume again on the 21st of April, Tuesday, and the chamber will hear Chaltium, and the parties are requested to be present. And from the 21st to the 24th, as well as the following weeks, the chamber will inform the parties of the hearings that will follow by email. Civil party, your testimony has come to an end. The chamber would like to thank you for the time that you spent to testify before the chamber. You are now free to leave the courtroom and to return to your place of residence. The chamber wishes you a pleasant trip home, and the chamber with Wesu will make the necessary arrangements so that witness can return home or return to the place of her choice. The chamber would like to thank the representative of TPO for having been here. You may also leave. And parties, you are requested to return